My world shattered the moment I saw the text on Ethan's phone. $530 million, baby. Leave her, and it's ours. It was from my sister, Claire, the one person I trusted as much as him. I stood frozen in our apartment, the engagement ring on my fingers suddenly heavy, as betrayal coiled around my heart like a snake. I'm Emily, 30, a software engineer who'd spent years building a tech startup from nothing. Ethan, my fiancé, was my rock, or so I thought. We met in college, bonded over late-night coding sessions and dreams of changing the world. He proposed 6 months ago under a starlit sky, promising forever. Claire, my younger sister by 2 years, was my best friend, my confidant, the one who'd braid my hair when we were kids and cry with me through heartbreaks. How could they do this? That night, I sat in the dark, clutching the phone, replaying every moment. Claire had always been the charming one, the one who lit up rooms with her laugh. But beneath her sparkle was a hunger for more attention, more success, more everything. I'd shared every detail of my startup with her, including the $530 million acquisition deal I'd been negotiating in secret. It was my triumph, my proof that hard work could rewrite a life. And now, she'd used it to lure Ethan. I didn't confront them. Not yet. Anger burned, but something colder took root, resolve. I'd built my company from code and grit. I could rebuild my life. But first, I'd make them face the consequences. The next morning, I called my lawyer, Sarah, a sharp woman who'd handled my company's contracts. I need you to dig into something, I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. Find out everything about Claire's finances and Ethan's recent moves. Sarah's findings came fast. Claire had been reckless, racking up debts from her influencer lifestyle, designer bags, private jets, all for the gram. Ethan, meanwhile, had been withdrawing large sums from our joint savings. My savings. The betrayal deepened, but so did my plan. I wasn't just going to expose them. I was going to dismantle their world. I invited them to dinner at my favorite restaurant, a cozy place with candlelit tables. They arrived hand in hand, Claire in a sleek red dress, Ethan in a tailored suit, both smiling like nothing was wrong. My stomach churned, but I smiled back, playing the part. To family, I toasted, raising my glass. Their eyes flickered with unease, but they drank. Claire, how's your new campaign going? I asked, voice sweet. She launched into a story about a brand deal, her words dripping with confidence. Ethan nodded along, his hand on hers. I listened, nodding, while my mind raced. The acquisition deal was set to close in a week, and they thought they could cash in. They didn't know I'd already secured the funds in a trust they couldn't touch. As dessert arrived, I leaned in. Oh, Claire, I forgot to mention my company's deal. It's done. $530 million, all mine. Their faces froze. Claire's fork clattered to her plate. Ethan's jaw tightened. What's wrong? I asked, feigning innocence. You look pale. Claire's laugh was brittle, her eyes darting to Ethan. That's amazing, Em, she stammered. We're so proud of you. Ethan nodded, but his grip on her hand tightened, his knuckles white. I savored their discomfort, letting it fuel me. Back home, I pored over Sarah's reports. Claire had been emailing a shady investor, promising a cut of my deal if he bankrolled her lifestyle. Ethan had co-signed a loan for her, using our joint account as collateral. My account. The audacity stung, but it also clarified my next move. I wasn't just fighting for money, I was fighting for my dignity. I met Sarah at her office, a sleek space with city views. Can we freeze their access to my assets? I asked. She nodded, already drafting papers. We can also file for fraud if they've misrepresented your deal, she said. But Emily, this could get ugly. They're family. I swallowed hard. They stopped being family when they betrayed me. Days later, I orchestrated a meeting with the acquiring company's CEO, Mark. He was impressed by my startup's AI tech, but I steered the conversation to Claire. My sister's been pitching my deal as her own, I said, sliding over evidence, emails, texts, even a fake contract she drafted. Mark's face darkened. We'll handle this, he promised. Claire and Ethan thought they were untouchable. They didn't know I'd hired a private investigator, too. His photos showed them at a luxury hotel, laughing over champagne, planning their future with my money. Each image was a knife to my heart, but also a weapon. I forwarded them to Sarah, who added them to our case. I invited Claire to lunch, just the two of us. She arrived late, her smile forced. About the deal she began, but I cut her off. I know everything, Claire. The texts, the loan, the investor. Her face drained of color. You don't understand, she whispered. I was desperate. I leaned closer, voice low. You stole my fiancé and my future. Desperate doesn't cut it. She cried, but I felt no pity. Not yet. I left her there, tears streaking her mascara, and called Ethan. Meet me at the lawyer's office tomorrow, I said. We're done. His silence was deafening, but I hung up before he could respond. The trap was set. The lawyer's office was sterile, all glass and steel, a stark contrast to the chaos in my heart. Ethan arrived first, his eyes avoiding mine. Claire followed, her confidence replaced by a nervous twitch. Sarah laid out the evidence. Texts, financial records, the fake contract. You've committed fraud, she said, and we're prepared to press charges. Ethan's face crumpled. Emily, I didn't mean, I held up a hand. Save it. Claire's tears started again, but this time, they felt rehearsed. We just wanted a better life, she said. I laughed, sharp and cold. By stealing mine? Sarah outlined our demands. They'd relinquish any claim to my assets, pay back the loan, and face public exposure if they didn't comply. Ethan blanched, but Claire's eyes flashed with defiance. You can't prove anything, she spat. Sarah slid a folder across the table. Mark's company had voided her fake contract and was suing her for misrepresentation. That night, I sat alone, staring at old photos of Claire and me. We'd been inseparable once, building sandcastles, sharing secrets. How had we come to this? Grief mingled with anger, but I pushed it down. I had to stay strong. The next day, I met with my team at the startup. They were my real family now, the ones who'd believed in my vision. I told them about the deal's success and my plans to expand, not just for profit, but to fund community programs. Their cheers lifted me, a reminder of what I'd built despite the betrayal. Claire called, begging for forgiveness. I was jealous, she admitted. You always had it together, and I didn't. Her words stirred memories of our childhood, but I couldn't let them sway me. You made your choice, I said. Now live with it. The courtroom loomed like a battlefield. I stood tall, my blazer crisp, as Claire and Ethan sat across from me, their faces pale. The judge reviewed our case: fraud, breach of trust, financial misconduct. Sarah presented our evidence with surgical precision, each document a blow to their defense. Claire's lawyer argued she'd acted out of desperation, not malice. Ethan claimed he was caught up in her plans. The judge's gaze was unyielding. Intent doesn't erase impact, she said. The room held its breath as she ruled in my favor, ordering them to repay the loan and barring them from my assets. Outside, reporters swarmed. I'd leaked the story to a trusted journalist, ensuring their betrayal was public. Claire's influencer career crumbled overnight. Brands dropped her, citing ethical concerns. Ethan's consulting firm lost clients. I didn't gloat, but I felt a quiet satisfaction. At home, I found a letter from Claire, slipped under my door. I'm sorry, it read. I was lost, but I never meant to hurt you. I crumpled it, tears stinging. Forgiveness wasn't impossible, but it wasn't now. I needed time. I threw myself into work, channeling pain into purpose. My startup launched a scholarship for women in tech, inspired by my own struggles. At the launch event, I spoke about resilience, not mentioning Claire or Ethan, but feeling their shadows. The applause felt like healing. Ethan texted, asking to meet. Against my better judgment, I agreed. He looked broken, his charm gone. I loved you, he said. I just got greedy. I studied him, the man I'd planned a life with. You didn't love me, I said. You loved what I could give you. Months passed, and the wounds began to scar. My company thrived, its mission expanding to global markets. I hired more women, mentored young coders, and found joy in giving back. But Claire's shadow lingered. She'd moved to a small apartment, her social media silent. Ethan had taken a low-paying job, his reputation in tatters. One evening, my doorbell rang. It was Claire, thinner, her eyes hollow. I'm trying to change, she said. I'm in therapy, paying off my debts. I wanted to slam the door, but something stopped me. Memories of the sister who'd once been my world. We talked for hours. She admitted her jealousy had festered for years, fueled by my success. I thought if I had what you had, I'd be enough, she said. I listened, torn between anger and empathy. You were always enough, I said. You just didn't see it. I didn't forgive her, not fully, but I gave her a number for a job counselor. Start over, I said. Earn it. She nodded, tears falling, and left. It wasn't closure, but it was a start. Ethan, though, was a different story. He kept calling, leaving voicemails about starting over. I blocked him. He'd chosen his path, and I wasn't his redemption. At a tech conference, I met Lena, a brilliant engineer with a warm smile. We bonded over shared dreams, and for the first time, I felt a spark of something new. Not love, not yet, but possibility. I was healing piece by piece. A year later, my life felt like mine again. The scholarship program was a success, with dozens of women launching their own startups. I'd moved to a new apartment, filled with light and plants, a space that felt like home. Lena and I were growing closer, our late-night talks a reminder that trust could be rebuilt. Claire reached out occasionally, updating me on her progress. She'd landed a job at a nonprofit, helping at-risk youth. It's not glamorous, she wrote, but it feels right. I was proud, despite myself. She was trying, and that mattered. Ethan, however, spiraled. I heard through mutual friends he'd been fired for mismanaging funds. Part of me pitied him, but pity wasn't love. I'd given him my heart once. I wouldn't give him my sympathy now. At the scholarship gala, I gave a speech about overcoming betrayal. The audience didn't know the details, but they felt the weight of my words. Strength isn't just surviving, I said. It's choosing to build something better. Lena squeezed my hand, her presence grounding me. Afterward, a young woman approached, a scholarship recipient. Your story saved me, she said. I thought I'd never recover from my family's mess. Her words hit deep. This was why I'd fought, not just for me, but for others. Claire sent a letter, asking to meet. I hesitated but agreed. We met at a park, the air crisp with autumn. She looked healthier, her smile tentative. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she said. Just a chance to be sisters again someday. I didn't promise anything, but I nodded. Someday, maybe. 2 years after the betrayal, I stood on a stage, accepting an award for innovation. The crowd cheered, but my eyes found Lena in the front row, her smile brighter than any spotlight. My company was now a leader in ethical AI, and the scholarship program had funded hundreds of dreams. I'd turned pain into purpose. Claire and I were slowly rebuilding. We met monthly, sharing coffee and cautious hope. She'd paid off her debts and was mentoring kids, her laughter genuine again. I'm proud of you, Am, she said once. I believed her, and it felt like a small miracle. Ethan faded from my life. Last I heard, he'd moved across the country, chasing another get-rich scheme. I wished him no harm, but I wished him nothing else, either. He was a chapter closed. Lena and I were planning a trip, a chance to explore the world together. As we packed, she found my old engagement ring in a drawer. You kept this? She asked. I nodded. Not for him. For me. It reminds me how far I've come. That night, I looked at the stars, remembering the night Ethan proposed. The memory didn't hurt anymore. I'd lost a fiancé and a sister, but I'd gained myself, a woman who'd fought, rebuilt, and loved again. The $530 million was mine, but my real wealth was the life I'd created, one of resilience, purpose, and hope.